Really, Michigan? Really? Okay, so Michigan just turned an old private prison. And it was supposed to be like the only private prison that we had here, but that's neither here nor there. They wanted to turn it into, or better yet, they just turned it into an ICE detention center. And then the Michigan House didn't even hold a proper vote. So we got to talk about this. I'm about to show y'all some clips. Hold on one second. So I want to thank this representative for giving us some live footage on how that vote was carried out. We did in fact hear her say she wanted a record of roll call for the votes, but I didn't hear that they did the official parliamentary procedure for demanding a roll call vote. So at this point, I just kind of put in there, I went to go look up the actual writing for the actual Michigan House rule, but that's pretty standard with everything I've ever seen about how you would go ask for a roll call vote. So to see how they're going to do the demand part, I'm looking at this point to see if there's going to be a motion to overturn, because there should in fact be one. Here's some other things that I found very interesting. Trying to calm the social work in me down and the Michiganian down, and the fact that I'm a constituent and they haven't really inquired with the people as to what we want, but then we say, hey, what is out there to show what we actually want? Well, here we go. You ready? Watch it. Just as a point of information, this is Michigan's nonpartisan nonprofit news, okay? So don't say I picked this side or that side. This is supposed to be nonpartisan. It's called Bridge, Michigan, okay? And they reported, as ICE's detention center opens, dangerous times to be an immigrant in Michigan. Indeed it is. It's a concerning time to just be a general civilian right now. This is concerning. Let me show you what the article looks like. Let's go. Just wanted to take note of the date. That says June 24th, 2025. Today, in fact, is June 26th, 2025, which means this is exactly 2 days ago, okay? 2. Although I know some of y'all can read this, I'm going to just go ahead and just flip through some of this. Hundreds of miles from any international border or federal immigration court, a rural Michigan village on the outskirts of this national forest will serve as a temporary residence for thousands of detainees awaiting a final decision on their legal status in the U.S. We already know due process is not happening, but okay. As President Donald Trump's administration ramps up nationwide deportation efforts, the Florida-based GEO Group and other companies have linked multi-million-dollar deals with the Immigration of Customs Enforcement, which is ICE, to reactivate shuttered private prisons for housing migrants. The federal government claims are living in the country illegal. So saying they're living here illegally, that's interesting. Let's move to the next part. Among them, North Lake Correctional Facility, a private-owned 1,800-bed complex in Baldwin that previously housed juvenile offenders, out-of-state prisoners, and most recently non-citizens convicted of federal crimes until the closure in 22. So 2022, let's keep going. So I gotta be quick. This is from MLive, yet another reporting source. Okay, this came out June 18th. Once again, today is the 26th of June, 2025. So new ICE detention center, largest in Michigan, ready to house detainees. Okay. Let me go flip through some of this really quickly so we can get the information real time, y'all. This is an image of the room. Okay, so diving into the actual article, it's actually saying here that they confirmed. So ICE confirmed Monday, June 16th, that the 1,800-bed facility in Baldwin is ready to house immigrants who have been detained. Keep in mind, who have been detained. The facility is set to start accepting detainees today. Today being as of that time frame, right? This article is written on the 18th. Let us go and jump into some more interesting information. So, North Lake Correctional Facility, owned and operated by that private prison company GEO Group, is reopening under a multi-year contract with ICE that is expected to generate $70 million in its first year. Let's talk about how they get the $70 million. Okay. So they said that they did not confirm the facility was open, but instead provided a March 20 news release. Now, we saw in the other article, in fact, that they said that this is currently open. This article states, we expect that our company-owned North Lake facility in Michigan will play an important role in meeting or helping to meet the needs for increased federal immigration processing centers bed space. That was by the CEO, or the executive chairman, better yet. That's what he said in the statement. Let's dig in a little bit more. So, as the only for-profit prison in Michigan, it has been closed since the Biden administration ended all federal contracts with private prison companies in 2022. So before that, it was operated under a Federal Bureau of Prison contracts to house immigrants who had committed crimes. Not just been detained, but committed crimes. Okay. So let's keep going. So the GEO Group expects North Lake will create 500 jobs, making it the largest employer and taxpayer in one of Michigan's poorest counties, my apologies. But because it opened and closed 4 times over the years, residents are skeptical that this time will be, pretty much any different than it was before. This company is also disputing its property tax bill. So, mind you, the people are supposed to represent the people, right? When we have these elected officials in there supposed to represent us. Okay, so it's showing right here in the article real time that this particular county, the Democrats have planned a protest for June 21st to oppose the reopening of the North Lake. And its aim is to raise awareness about the GEO's record of violating human rights, denounce ICE, and support our immigrant neighbors in the Baldwin community. Okay, so unlike a prison, immigration detention is supposed to be a non-punitive situation. It also says that GEO Group says it provides medical care, visitation, library access, translation services, recreational amenities, and opportunities for detainees to practice their religious beliefs, and it's pretty much in the center. Interesting, because we've seen a lot of things that have been going on throughout the U.S. when people are trying to go visit and what happens, but I digress. So much to say, so little time. So just to continue on this article, to meet quotas of 3,000 people a day. Okay, first off, the conversation of quotas, mandatory money and funding. Okay, ICE has reportedly adopted more aggressive tactics, including raiding workplaces and detaining people outside courthouses. Recent ICE's raids have sparked protests in cities across the country, including, LA, where demonstrations have been ongoing. Let's see. Okay, but these arrests are occurring as ICE has maxed out its detention capacity of 48,000, and at the end of May, there were more than 51,000 people in ICE custody, in the highest record since 2019. So, it says the administration reports plans to spend $45 billion on expanded detention capacities for nonprofit prison jails, or my apologies, this is in the way. So for-profit prison companies. Interesting. Just another clip of that same piece of the article. It just looked like somebody making a lot of money, talking about a $1 billion deal to reopen a New Jersey prison. And okay, With a few seconds remaining, this is just a quick Google search. Try to read it as you can about the 287 program. Interesting, right? Also want you guys to think that how this affects like due process and people, even say awareness about who's actually approaching you. I want you to look at this next clip. Well, isn't this just dandy? With over 200 bought in the past month and people don't even know who. This is a doorway to a lot of mistrust, confusion, problematic encounters, because you may not even have an official person walking up to you trying to detain you. We never know the motives of why people do what they do. There might be people actually who have gone through whatever that process is to become an ICE agent, but there are also people who may not. Look at this. More discussion is needed. You need to communicate with your constituency so that we're involved in some of the decision making, and more importantly, there needs to be more transparency. What is going on? Signed a social worker, signed a Michiganian. Answers are needed. Brings me back. I'm asking that Michigan file a motion to overturn this. Thanks. Like today.